Yo, welcome again, audience. It's your boy Gallo, and the season 5 patch notes have just dropped, so we're gonna cover that in this video. So let's go. All right, boys, let's take a look at these patch notes. Okay, so Angela is up first. Increase the movement speed of Assassin's Charge accelerated dash state from 16 meters to 18 meters a second. That's pretty nice, actually. That'll help her a lot. That'll help her a lot. Increase Heaven's Retribution ultimate ability spear health from 600 to 800. Okay. That's not bad. I think that's needed because it definitely died too fast. That is 1000% true. So Steve Rogers is getting an ultimate buff. And oh, okay, so 30% damage to ultimate energy charge efficiency for all allies. That's really strong, seeing as like ultimate spam is just so incredibly high in this game already. So like adding this just is gonna make Cap even better. So it is what it is. You are technically kind of incentivized a little bit more to play with your team now, so it is what it is. Groot, Ironwood Wall gains a new effect. Gain unstoppable status when within 15 meters of awakened Groot. Wait, unstoppable is CC immunity? Is that what that means? I think that's what that means. If unstoppable is CC immunity within 15 meters of awakened Ironwood Walls, that's wild. That's wild. If that's truly what that is, that's a crazy new effect, which is an indirect nerf to Angela. Feels bad. All right, so next up is Hulk. So Gamma Burst, a new effect. Each direct hit reduces indestructible guard cooldown by 1 second. Wow. So if you just hit multiple people with your right click, I'm assuming that's the right click, your indestructible guard or your bubble goes down by 1 second. That's pretty solid. Magneto, separate the cooldowns of metal bulwark and iron bulwark. What? What? Now activating one won't send the other on cooldown. Okay, so we just have Zarya. Oh, okay. Reduce the bulwark HP from 250. Okay. Regardless, that is an insane mag buff. What? That's crazy. He's already the best tank, but then again, I will say I like the fact that now you can bubble allies that are separate from yourself, because sometimes you want to save yourself on mag, but then saving yourself on mag is like a double-edged sword, because if you save yourself on Magneto, sometimes if they just pop a bunch of support ults, if they just pop a bunch of like ults in general and your support is ulting, sometimes you want to keep that bubble up for them too, so it kind of just, you know, if your support isn't going to ult, you might die, but if you use your bubble on yourself and then your support ults, the Iron Man ults, and then your support is dead. So I think this is a good change. I agree that they should nerf the HP too. So this is like a probably a good change for Magneto. It's gonna make him even stronger, but I think it's a good change regardless. All right, Penny Parker. Allies in Penny Parker's webs now receive the same healing over time and movement speed effects as her. Movement boost for allies is 25%. Healing is 15 a second. Ally excess healing converts into bonus HP up to 20. What the hell is that? I mean, if penny holds weren't super busted on Quintar and the symbiote map, bro, oh well, it's gonna get even harder. The thing, oh, that's a lot of changes. Hold up. So in battle leap, remove damage reduction from a single leap target. Now grants 20% damage reduction to all allies within 5 meters of his landing point, and reduce damage reduction for self for 25% from 25% to 20. Oh right, that's a crazy change. So now he has group AoE damage reduction, which is kind of cool. It gives him a new niche. Battle blitz, I think that's his dash towards people. Remove damage reduction from self. Oh, but now applies 20% of vulnerability to all enemies within 5 meters of his landing point. That's crazy. That gives him a lot of utility. That, well, it might make him good and it might not make him good. I don't think he's gonna be diving like into your backline anymore, or like jumping into the enemy backline anymore, because like he doesn't get his damage reduction. Even with his damage reduction, I felt like he was dying through it. So all right, so Stone Haymaker base damage decreased from 90 to 55. Okay. And remove 50 bonus HP gained during the activation of the ability. New effect. Deal bonus damage equal to 8% of the max enemy's max HP per hit. Gain bonus HP or gain bonus health equal to damage dealt up to 100. Oh, okay. So they're trying to incentivize him to brawl with the tanks, which 8% max HP ain't no joke. That's pretty high. And you get bonus HP along with it. Okay, they're trying to make him into like a tank shredder, I guess, or not a tank shredder, but like a brawl, actual true brawl tank, because he was losing a lot of frontline trades. I feel like, and just this change right here, because you don't want to like go too far deep, so you kind of still want to be on the front line, but this damage like vulnerability on said person is going to be really strong for when you're peeling as well, because then it just allows you to blow them up. So honestly, really good changes for Thing. I'm curious to see how that'll affect him in game. Overall, the tank changes. Angela, really good change. Cap, I kind of don't think they needed this, because like Cap's ult was already really strong. It's another support ult, and adding this on top of that is just kind of crazy. The Groot one, that is a massive change. If that's truly CC immunity when you're within 50 meters of your wall, that's wild. Indirect nerf to Angela, unlucky. The Hulk change, really good. Magneto change, honestly, I like this change a lot. The only one that's a little bit sus, and I kind of don't know if I agree with too much, is the Penny one, but it sure as hell makes Penny a lot stronger. As kind of like a trap sustain tank. But I got that whole thing is just crazy, because then now you have self-healing for your backline that you don't even have to be there anymore. They just stay within your nest, and they just get passive healing. So that one, not gonna lie, a really powerful change. All right, so now on to Duelist. Let's see what they cooked up. Hawkeye, increase anchor focus maximum charge bonus damage from 75 to 90. I have no idea what that means. Is that just his like base charge or something? I have no idea. Anyways, Mr. Fantastic. Reflexive rubber now can be used during inflated state after reaching 100 elasticity. What? Whoa. Oh, you can use your immortality thing when you're in big form. That's kind of massive. Remove 350 bonus HP on entering inflated state. What? Now gains 350 max health and a... Oh, it's no longer bonus HP. Now it's just raw HP. And a one-time heal of 350, which is removed upon exiting the inflated state. Huh? So remove the bonus health. But now... Oh, okay. I think I know what this means. This means that, like, instead of your HP just gradually going down and you can't really... Because you can't heal bonus HP, right? You just get the same amount of, like, actual health. And then you get a one-time heal, which it's the same exact effect. But now you can be healed in it. That's a pretty huge change, I'm not gonna lie, for inflated state, because what usually tended to happen is as soon as you enter inflated state, you get melted, and you can't really get healed through that. And so once you get to 250 HP, I'm pretty sure that's how that worked, is that you can finally start getting your actual HP healed when you get to drop to 250, but then by then you're like too low and you end up dying. So now with this change, you can pretty much get healed the entire time you're in inflated state, which is pretty nice. I think it's a good change for Mr. Fantastic. Is it a good change for me on support? No idea, but I don't care. I have Gambit. So, Phoenix. Cosmics burn brighter. Oh, no. What did they do? Adjust Cosmic Flames maximum fall from 30 meters from 60... Oh, at 30 meters from 60% to 75%. I don't like that change, bro. So basically she has less fall off damage. Not too happy about that one. All right, Spider-Man's change. Let's see what you got, bro. So his web shooters have a 0.5 second less charge time, which is fine. I think that's perfectly fine. Increase amazing combo damage from 60 to 70. Is that his uppercut? I think that's his uppercut. That makes him incredibly more lethal. I would have rather them buff the overhead slam, because that one actually takes a lot of skill to hit. Because it requires you to do the cancel and everything and do it correctly. I think the overhead slam should have been the one that got the damage buff instead of this, but I could be wrong. I'm assuming that's the uppercut though. So I think this is a decent change for Spider-Man. I mean, compared to every other diver, he's like not as lethal. So I think it's kind of fair to maybe buff him. Yeah, I would have rather than buff the overhead because that's the actual skillful part of landing his combo. But it is what it is. Squirrel Girl getting buffed back to 210 or 110 damage per nut. Okay, that's fine. I don't really care. Storm. Increase weather control, thunder damage boost to allies from 10% to 12%. Okay. And then, okay, so what? Oh, during goddess boost, 12% to 15%. Got it. Okay, so the base damage is 12%, but now her boosted damage is 15%. I gives her way more team utility. Sick. All right, so now we have Punisher. So he's losing his anchor bonus, but I guess they're wanting to keep him as bulky as he is. So now he has 300 HP. Sick. Adjustment. I can't read that. It's fine. Fall off from 40 meters to 70% and 80%. I think that's his rifle. That's crazy though. If that's his rifle, that's an insane buff. So now he just doesn't have fall off damage, or basically doesn't have fall off damage. That's ridiculous. Increase pellets fired per deliverance round from 14 to 16. Is this to compensate for the loss of the anchor? I'm not exactly, I don't remember what his anchor buff was. So, all right. So now let's move on to Wolverine. Let's see. I heard they were gonna make him more painful to play against again. Into him against tanks. So increase Savage Claw's percentage damage for each point of rage from 0.045% to 0.057%. That's basically a whole extra like 0.01% per hit, I think, or per point of rage. That's kind of massive. Increase Vicious Rampage percentage damage for each. Okay, so basically just giga more damage to tanks. Unfortunate. Reduce Feral Leap cooldown from 15 seconds to 12. Oh my gosh, bro. Okay, so like as soon as I got kidnapped on Angela, I already died. I'll just die faster. That's cool. You know what? Just get my misery done and over with. That's fine, I guess. My final thoughts on the duelist changes. To be honest with you, I don't really think they should buff Hawkeye. I think Hawkeye is one of those characters that he can just take over a lobby if you know how, like if you can hit shots on him. Obviously a one shot's really busted. So I don't feel like you should be buffing Hawkeye too much, but like I feel like this one might be okay. Mr. Fantastic, I think this is a great change. It allows him to stay in his inflated state a little bit more, and then obviously having the invulnerable ability while you're in inflated state is also really good as well. It allows you to wait. That is what that says, right? I don't care. Anyway, I don't play Mr. Fantastic. Phoenix, don't like this change at all. I don't really like her having less fall off. It kind of just makes her closer and closer to Hela. And Hela's whole thing is that she doesn't like she like has no fall off. And so when you give Phoenix that too and she has a faster fire rate, it's like it's not great. Spider-Man, I'm okay with this change, to be honest. Most supports are getting I mean, I don't know what the support changes are, but like I'm assuming the support changes are going towards more survivability or something. So I think this is fine. Yeah, Squirrel Girl, don't really care. I mean, this is probably going to affect a bunch of the silver players out there who think Squirrel Girl is like this super busted character, but I think this is just putting her more in line where she was. I didn't think that Squirrel Girl needed the nerf at all actually before. Yeah, so anyways, that's a good change. Storm, always like to see Storm changes because I play Storm. Punisher, I think these are just compensation buffs, but I think this middle one is to like I think this one is just doesn't make any sense. I don't know why you'd give him less fall off. Wolverine, that is a scary change, as in a lot of tanks are just gonna suffer this season. But those are kind of my like initial thoughts on the DPS changes. All right, now it's time we cover my main role, which is Strategist. So let's see what they cooked up. All right, so for Adam Warlock, he is getting an increased flight speed to his state when I think when he dies, from basically doubling the speed. That's actually pretty nice. Allows him to reposition a lot faster in it, and reduce the ultimate energy charge from 4,700 to 4,500, and increase ally detection radius from 30 meters to 35 meters. as someone who primarily plays Adam and Mantis, I don't think that this was a needed change. And let me explain. This ult is kind of one that you just want to hold on to for the right moment. You don't really pop this on cooldown, if I'm gonna be honest. Unless of course you're resing like your one support, then I guess this makes sense. I just personally don't want them to keep bloating the amount of, or like increasing the the rate at which you build ultimates. I think this game needs to focus a little bit more on like the non-ultimate fights, because as it feels right now is that it's a poke fest until all ultimates come online, and then everyone just starts popping it at the same time, trying to get a kill through said ultimate. And so having this is just extra stall. I do like this, the meter detection range. I think that's a fine change, but this one right here, I feel like they could have kept it at 4700, me personally. All right, so on to Cloak and Dagger. They're increasing their base HP from 250 to 275. I think this is like, I mean, it's gonna definitely hurt divers. I'm not gonna lie, but like at the same exact time, I think every other like main support in the game has 275. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Sue might not have 275, but I think she could use it. I think that's an okay change. I don't play Cloak and Dagger, so I have no idea. Sue, increase orb projections, hit damage from 25 to 30, projectile maximum range from 30 to 35, and projectile speed from 120 to 150. This makes her projectiles way easier to hit with the projectile speed and allows her to do more damage with her primary fire. I might actually start playing Sue again because I actually quite like her kit. I just thought she did like kind of mediocre damage. So increase force physics length from 30 to 35 meters. I believe that is her pull/push. So having that go an extra 5 meters is actually really massive. Unfortunately for me and Angela, this is a direct nerf to my character. Unlucky, dude. Guardian Shield new effect. If no Guardian Shield is present, pressing the recall button now deploys a shield in front of Invisible Woman. That's an insane change, and that was what I used to do a lot. On Invis, I would just proc it on a set ally next to me, get myself healed up, but now I don't have to do that. So now she has a little bit more self-sustainability when no one is there. Now on to Loki. The Trickster God gets trickier and tougher, so he gets 275 base HP. I think that's okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about increasing all of the like supports base HP, but like I guess it's a way to deal with dive. So I think it's fine. Adjust missile. His projectile speed from fall off from 3 meters from 50% to 80%. Wait. Okay, so he does more damage from range slightly, and then gain no effect. Now heals direct allies hit for an extra 10 health. Okay, so it incentivizes you to hit them directly. Got it. So his healing is slightly getting a buffed, I guess, and his damage is getting less fall off. I think that's okay. I think these are pretty good Loki changes. Yeah. And next is to Rocket. Reduce BRB's cooldown from 45 seconds to 40. I don't like that one. This was already basically a free value ability. I don't know why you'd buff the I don't know why you'd buff the rate you get it back. Yeah, I don't think like I like this change. If Rocket had to risk his body out there and res someone like Mercy, I would see this being an okay change, because in Mercy you're locked into animation when you're trying to res somebody, but like Rocket you just kind of throw this off to the side and it gets free value. And sometimes when you're like struggling to get through a choke or some like on a map, and it takes you your entire team to get one kill, and then they get rezzed by Rocket, it feels bad. Now it's going to be back up more often, so I really don't agree with this. Increase repair mode maximum count from 5 to 7, and projectile speed from 60 meters to 80 meters. So now his healing flies faster and has 2 extra... Wait. Huh? Increase repair mode maximum count from 5 to 7, and projectile speed from 60 meters to 80 meters. I have no idea what this is. I have no idea what that is. So if anyone in the comment section knows what this Rocket change is, I have no idea what this is. I don't play Rocket. Increase bombard mode projectile speed from 150 meters a second to 180 meters a second. Is that his primary fire? Is that what that is? I think that's what that is. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I have no idea what this Rocket change is, so please let me know. As for the support changes, what are my thoughts on these? The Adam Warlock change I'm split on. I like this buff. I like this buff. I don't like this one. For Cloak and Dagger, I think that's fine. For Invisible Woman, I love these changes. Like these changes right here are really nice. But I will say it's on Sue, and Sue's really strong already, so she's gonna be even stronger. But I think comparing her to Luna, I would prefer to play against a Sue rather than a Luna Snow, so I'm okay with her getting buffed. Loki, this is a good change. I think Loki felt pretty awful this past season. Just simply because like the clones doing less damage just felt bad. And Rocket, I hate this change. I really do. You don't really risk anything on Rocket, so having this just be like free value, I really don't like that. In fact, they should have increased this cooldown. Increase the cooldown of the res, I feel like would have been a great choice. But then again, I will say, I think what they could have done to Rocket is make him kind of like a weapon specialist support. So I feel like they could have just replaced this with an infinite ammo beacon, and I feel like it would have been way better, and it would have fit his like whole fantasy better. But that's besides the point. I already said that in one of my other videos. But and then I like I think primary fire projectile speed. That one's pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, that I feel like is pretty okay changes for support, I will say. All right, so what are my final thoughts on these patch notes? Like, I do love the tank changes. I think those tank changes are like fantastic. The DPS changes are kind of if I'm gonna be honest with you. Some of them are hits, some of them are misses, but these seem like very passive buffs and nerfs. I wanted them to go a little bit more aggressive, but it seems like they're pretty hard strung on, you know, the game being a bunch of ult spam. So it is what it is. I don't think I'll ever get my like competitive balance state that I want for Rivals, and I think that's kind of okay. I just hope that they make it so that ultimates feel like impactful and like feel like ultimates in this game, not just the actual like neutral on how to get kills and stuff. Because I think when like everyone pops ult at the same exact time, that is just, it just gets so hectic. And yeah, like overall, I feel like the changes are pretty good. I really dislike this change for Rocket. But you know, I would rate these changes like probably a solid for tanks 8 out of 10. For DPS, probably like a 6.5 out of 10. I think some of these are kind of like, some of them aren't needed in my opinion. And support, I would say the Sue one is a big W, except for the fact that Sue's already really strong. I just like having the ability to do do extra damage, and then having the ability to shield yourself if no allies are nearby. Loki changes are good. Cloak and Dagger, don't really care. I don't play that character. Adam, I think this is a good change, but I already explained it earlier. The ones I dislike the most are it's definitely Rocket. I dislike the Phoenix one too. I don't think giving her less damage fall off is going to be a smart decision. And like every single one of these tank changes are pretty solid, except for maybe the cap one. I actually don't agree with this one. But other than that, those are my thoughts on the patch notes for Marvel Rivals. Anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. Those are the Season 5 patch notes coming on Friday. So yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on these patch notes? Did they cook? Did they not cook? I'm very curious to see what your guys' thoughts are on it. I am personally of the opinion that you shouldn't be really increasing the sustain in this game. I think sustain is already really OP, but then again, damage is also OP, so maybe adding extra sustain is fine. But yeah, I think the tank changes, they really cooked with these. These are gonna make a lot of tanks a lot more viable, which is a great thing. DPS didn't really get into like insane changes except for like Wolverine. This one's gonna be pretty scary for tanks. And for support, I think everything is gonna be pretty much just like kind of the same, except for Rocket getting this. Nothing you guys will ever say will make me like this Rocket change. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the Season 5 patch notes. Yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.